Hey, what's going on, crew? It's your boy Serrano, and today we're gonna cover the LG Stylo 5 as well as the Alcatel 3V 2019. Both of these phones are actually entry-level devices that you can get with a port over special, but if you're looking to get one of these devices for less than $200, you can actually get them both at a really reasonable cost if you were just gonna go into the carrier and like flat out buy it. But overall, I gotta say, back in the day, like all phones actually that were budget offered really bad processors, either quad core or dual core. Now the standard for every phone is like an octa-core processor, so it's actually pretty cool. But you are getting a fingerprint on both devices. You're getting the 6.7-inch 1440 times 720 pixels on the Alcatel V 2019. So this thing was actually really nice. You also do get a P22, which is a MediaTek Helio processor with 3 GB of RAM on it. With the LG, you're getting the Snapdragon 450 with 3 GB of RAM as well. So the only difference between the 3V and the 3V and the LG is that the 3V does have a 4000 milliamp hour battery and adaptable storage, meaning you could turn your SD card into portable storage and move every app or game over to the SD card slot, which, I didn't have the ability to do on the LG Stylo, 5, which kind of sucked. But these things both did have like Metro Play, which was crazy, Type C fast charging, which was really cool. So they both actually were able to charge within like an hour or so, which was like really impressive. The software on both devices was Android 9.0 Pie, and every single week or like every other month or so, I was getting an update for software, security patches, which was really cool. But overall, the more powerful one I could probably say was the Alcatel 3V, just because it had a newer processor compared to the Stylo, but the Stylo was more functional with the pen feature. They get that included stylus, which was embedded right on the bottom right hand corner, so you could get access to like social media and like different applications really quickly with the swipe of the swipe of a pen, which was cool. So honestly, I could say that that feature did add benefit, and overall usability and performance was actually pretty good on the LG Stylo 5 as well. Now when it came to the Alcatel 3V's performance, you could see it was actually pretty good. There were a few stutters when you were in some apps, but that was expected for a budget phone, even though like these things did actually have no lag. They were just a little bit like slower than flagships actually do clock out at. But honestly, I could say that both offered some pretty decent like options when it came to the settings. You did get unlock device app in both the phones, which was cool. So I did like get the ability to unlock the LG Stylo 5 with the unlock app, which came included with it. So I did think that was pretty cool. But overall, when it came to like Instagram, you can add that app called dark mode, which would basically turn like the app dark, which was crazy. I did like that. um you did get a main camera for the pretty much the LG did have a 1080 display versus the 720 that you were getting on the Alcatel. But the only thing is that you were getting a bigger display on the Alcatel, which was really cool. But you could see, I didn't have any issues with either device, honestly. The only thing is that with the LG Stylo 5, you can't really load too many big apps and games on there at the same time, because after a certain point you definitely will run out of storage, because um the system does take up a lot of storage right off the gun. But you were getting also a 5 megapixel on the selfie camera for the LG Stylo 5, and you can see right here it did have like no notch or anything, but there was a little bit of bezel on that thing. Honestly, both phones didn't have a notch, which was really nice to see. You could actually mess around and use your fingerprint to bring down the notification, or use the slide down with your finger or whatever. So that was cool. You could also turn that into navigation keys or get the mini view if you did so desire. But both phones did offer the mini view, and they were extremely large devices to actually use from day to day. So you were able to get a lot of different apps for the LG, which came included. This is probably the reason why their system takes up a lot of memory and storage, is because they have these apps like LG Mobile Switch, which actually helps you with like moving a ton of files a lot easier, either cordlessly or with a cord. But they actually have all these features built in, like the smart world as well. So that's like another like big file. So from time to time, you definitely have to keep those up to date. But the other advantage that the Alcatel 3V did have over the Stylo was that it did have like adaptable storage as well. But you can see that the Stylo did have a ton of features built into the lock screen for shortcut, which is kind of cool. They also did have facial recognition, which was cool. 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi as well on both devices. Type C charging on both devices, which is actually good to see as well. Um, and one of the other things that I did like about the LG Stylo 5 was that it had that pen feature with the built-in software, and it kind of looked like the Note device in a way because of that pen usability. But overall, the Alcatel 3V was a massive phone. The LG Stylo 5 had a little bit better feel in the hand, and I did keep a case on both, obviously, so I could actually increase the lifespan of both devices. So that was cool. But you can see that the photo quality that we were getting on the Alcatel versus the LG, it's a little bit brighter on the LG, in my opinion. You can see the front-facing camera on the Alcatel here, and then you could take a look at the LG. So obviously, the LG was a little bit more brighter here as well. Let's just take a look at the front-facing video camera shooting in 1080 30 frames per second on both sides, and you can see the clear difference in lighting, science, and the way it actually adjusts to light and everything. Both cameras clearly were really good on the rear, but the clear advantage went to the LG because of it's just a lot more brighter and crispier on the front camera. But when it came to overall builds, honestly, the Stylo 5 scratched like a lot easier versus the Alcatel 3V, which had a more of a solid, durable feel. Even though both of these phones are pretty much indestructible, with the you get like Gorilla Glass on the front of the LG, and on the Alcatel 3V you're gonna get like the Dragon Tail Pro Glass, which is actually a lot stronger, so it didn't scratch whatsoever, which was really good to see. And I didn't even have a screen protector on it, to be honest, but I always kept the case on it just in case like something happened, like if I dropped it off the table or something. But honestly, I liked both of these phones. To be honest, they both had really nice features as well. You were getting a little bit more stock experience when it came to the Alcatel 3V 2019. Honestly, I gotta say that when it came to gaming, I would probably go with the Alcatel 3V because there's gonna be more storage. You're gonna be able to download a lot more games. But with the LG Stylo 5, you will run out of storage like a lot quicker. And even if you buy an SD card for the LG Stylo 5, you won't be able to move the apps over to it, which kind of sucks. But honestly, I could say that both of these devices were pretty cool. You were getting 390 pixels per inch on the LG Stylo 5 and 240 on the 3V. But if you found this helpful, hit the bell icon so you can get notified, and Make sure you hit the like button if you found it helpful. But I'll have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll check you guys later. But in the meantime, later, crew. Peace.